Hi guys, welcome to week 7. This video is going over exactly what's happening this week. We have 2 discussions, which is pretty typical for what we're doing, and we also have a reading response. So it's very similar to last week. We're pushing through to another difficult reading, a lot less challenging in many ways than Henry David Thoreau's piece called Civil Disobedience. We're moving on to Martin Luther King Jr.'s piece, Letter from Birmingham Jail. And so in class this week, we will kind of recap our experience with Thoreau, talk about reading and writing strategies and ways to engage with his piece and to connect, what good readers do, what experienced readers do, and then we're going to move forward and jump into the rhetoric of Martin Luther King Jr. So this week for discussion, you will be discussing his letter, and so it looks very similar to what it looked like last week. You're going to finish reading and annotating his letter from Birmingham Jail that we're starting in class. You're gonna do note taking, clustering his reading in your journal, connecting it with a rhetorical triangle, fleshing out your ideas. Oftentimes, as you're reading, something will stir you emotionally, or you'll notice something. It's a really good time to annotate or take a note, because later when you do your 2-page reading response, you'll have all these really great notes for you to fall back on, and you'll remember all the interesting things that you found in the reading as you were reading it. So again, that's what you're doing for this discussion, is you're going to do a cluster. There's first 2 pages of his reading in his voice, which is just so beautiful and eloquent. And then the response is also on here, so you can see the clergyman and the letter that they wrote to Martin Luther King. His letter is in response to their letter, which was made public. And so what you're doing for this discussion is you're posting a 2-paragraph response. Follow directions for credit. Paragraph 1, you're choosing a sentence or part of the letter that you find intriguing. We're calling that the golden line. And then you're sharing what stood out to you and why you picked it. And then paragraph 2 is you're going to connect the line that you picked to the rhetorical triangle or framework. So maybe you picked a line that is an emotional appeal, and so you're going to make that connection for your reader. And so that's what you're doing, 2-paragraph response, and then you're responding to a classmate. So I would encourage you to take what you've done here on the discussion and turn that 2-paragraph response into your 2-page response that's also due this week. So remember, the assignment folder's on the home page. It's right here, reading response number 3. So at this point, you should have done Natalie Goldberg's 2-page reading response, Henry David Thoreau's reading response from this last week, and then now we're on to our 3rd reading response. So there's only a total of 4 reading responses this semester as far as like formal reading responses. Last discussion is They Say, I Say, starting with what others are saying. And so you're going to take some notes. After reading the chapter, or taking notes in your journal, bullet the main points of the chapter. There is a little overview of the actual chapter if you need to read it here. Starting with what they say. And then there's a chapter 1 video as well for you. So let me turn it up so you can hear it.
Make sure you are still reading the chapter, though. This is just going to kind of hit the high points.
Okay, so this is a 7.5-minute video on YouTube that was made by an instructor who's using this textbook. It's a really great quick overview. You can use his PowerPoint YouTube presentation to put notes in your journal if you'd like. For this discussion, you're writing a paragraph where you do 2 things. So 1, you're applying a chapter of They Say, I Say to yourself, and you're timed writing on Goldberg, Stalker, and Dreamer. Did you do this for essay number 1? Did you introduce what others are saying first? So for essay number 1, it would be Goldberg. Did you summarize and introduce her ideas about Stalker, Dreamer first before you jumped in with your own I Say? So again, you can apply it to your, then you're going to apply it to how you did your rhetorical analysis of Thoreau's Civil Disobedience or King's letter that you're working on, or should be working on. Did you follow the advice from the chapter? Explain how you did or did not. Remember, don't forget to try out the template. So this paragraph, this post for this discussion is asking you to do many different things. So just take your time, figure out what I'm asking, make sure you have the prompt up so you're following each phase of what I'm asking you to do. But those are the discussions. So again, same as last week, and next week will be really similar, 2 discussions and then a 2-page reading response. Next week we'll be doing Martha Nussbaum's Civil human capabilities. And so again, that's what's happening this week. Remember, you're priming yourself for essay number 2, which is your rhetorical analysis essay, where you're going to choose one of these last 4 readings that we'll have done. So your options are Natalie Goldberg, Martin Luther King, Henry David Thoreau, or Martha Nussbaum. So you want to make sure that you really connect with at least one of those readings so you can flesh it out. So that's what's happening in week 7. Have a great week. Post any questions that you have to the discussion board. As a friendly reminder, it's super important to ask questions as you're learning. This is what expert readers and writers do. They post questions, so clarity found here. Remember, I'm not the only one that needs to answer the questions. If you see that someone has posted a question, then feel free to hop on there and respond, so that way we're connecting and they're getting their question answered and we're engaging in a dialogue. So again, have a great week 7. Pace yourself, work on your time management if you need to, so you can get what you need from the class and be successful.